The hottest item of the season is here. Single game tickets are now on sale for games until Christmas to see the St. John's Ice Caps. Purchase at the box office or mile1center.com. Only 1,000 seats per game available. Get more at stjohnsIcecaps.com.
Hello, Ice Cap fans. Once again, play-by-play broadcaster Brian Rogers with head coach Keith McCambridge of the Ice Caps in our third segment discussing the roster for 2014-15. Coach, we talked about the D, we talked about the net minding. Now let's talk about the forwards. And the first thing that jumps off the page, and you told me this earlier in the fall, is that you got a feeling that a lot of scores will be 3-2, 2-1, and 1-0. Maybe you'll get a 4-3 in there or 5-4. You did lose a lot of goal scoring in Andrew Gordon, Cale Mularot, and Jerome Sampson. What is the plan to try to, I'm not saying get those 70 goals back, but try to get distributed scoring this fall?
Well, to talk about the forwards for me would be to see the, exactly what we have back there. It's going to take some time for, the guys to find their game. We do have some young players that have come in here in Olsen and Kosmachuk. We got Broussard now into his second year. J.C. Lippon, the same process taking place there. So, when you look for production offensively, those players that I just mentioned, a little bit more from the push on their end with adding to the offense. That's something that takes place with all American Hockey League teams, so we'll have to lean on them to see what they can add in the offensive zone for us. Obviously, the players that I just mentioned have put up good numbers in the past, but we are very aware that we're going to have to be patient to wait for them to find their game also. When I look at the players you mentioned there with us missing our offense, that goes back to before our previous discussion about our defensemen and our goaltenders. We're going to have to make sure that we keep games close and give some of the time that's going to have to take place for some of these young players up front to be able to get their offensive game where it needs to be. So, it is part of the development process where these guys are really going to have to get a feel for the game. Does it put a little bit more added focus on them finding that offensive touch earlier? It does, but we are going to make sure we're taking the right steps with those young players that we have up front.
Your leadership core led by your captain, Jason Jaffrey. Jeff tells me he always looks to set the goal 50 or beyond points, and he had a great year last year with 18 goals. Then you had John Albert, who just reemerged as one of your top scorers and top players, and his work ethic is second to none. Johnny had 28. That would be sweet if you could get up that high again this year. Yeah,
those John Albert, not surprised with him, the numbers that he put up last year. The player himself, the speed that he has, I've mentioned it numerous times that he brings the other players around him, their work ethic and intensity to the level that he plays at, which is a good thing. Jason Jaffrey, obviously, we know what we have in Jason, and we have a very, very well-spoken, respected leader in that dressing room, and he's a good example, again, for those young players to watch. You talk about those guys building off what took last year. I don't look at that. I look at making sure that, that part is out of the way. It's a different team. We don't have some of the players that you look for mix and chemistry out of those offensive lines. It's different personnel that are now filling into those spots, and us as coaches trying to find the chemistry as quick as possible, what works, what doesn't work here. But those guys, we know exactly what we have in Jason. We know exactly what we have in John Albert, and that's high quality players that represent how we want to play, and the ability to create offense is something that also, given the right circumstances, will be there also.
Yeah. And just a couple more here, Coach. Obviously, Carl Klingberg had an outstanding season, an excellent playoff as well, and I'm sure you're counting on him to be as productive or more. He certainly has the makeup, the speed, and the heads-up play that he can create scoring chances.
Well, I thought Klinger had a really good camp. I was disappointed for him whenever he got sent down, because I watched him in Winnipeg, and I thought, the compete that he had on pucks, the way that there was no minute that was taken off out of practice and the games. He really brought everything he had. Klinger has speed. Speed is obviously a huge benefit to have in your lineup, and he possesses that. Anytime he wants to take the puck to the net, it's hard for defenders to stop him. Klinger, again, is going to be a guy that's going to create energy, has the offensive skill set, when put in the right situation to be able to create again. But a player that is, over the years, every time he's been asked to do anything, Klinger goes out and performs that task. So I'm disappointed, as I am with a lot of the players whenever they get sent down, but Klinger has been here for a long time. The same with Jaff, but Klinger has the work ethic for him is second to none. The compete on pucks is something that I really feel that has taken big strides in the playoffs last year and here in the front half of training camp.
Yeah, the beauty about him, Keith, as you know, is that his attitude is just terrific. He was all smiles when we were in central Newfoundland after being sent down. It really jumped off the page. And finally, like as you said, you would love to have the guys who have been here stay with the parent club. Eric Odell is right there too. I know he's on the injury reserve right now, but there's a possibility if he clears waivers, he'd be here. We all want him to play in the NHL, but there's a flat-out pure goal scorer.
Well, disappointed that the injury that happened to Eric at camp. When you look at poorly timed injuries, that was one of them. It's he can't control it, but we know what we have in Eric Odell with regards to goal scoring, whatever takes place between Winnipeg and ourselves here. But can put the puck in the net. He's another player that now continues to gain experience. I thought when he came back from Winnipeg last year, the pace that he played at was at a really good level. And face-offs for him were improved greatly on the back half. So you have to start with a puck to be able to create offense, and he was able to provide that for us. So we know offensively what Eric Odell can do. We know the way he plays the game, a solid two-way game, 200-foot paced practice games, all of the above, and what he provides. So whatever is going to take with regards to transaction with Eric, we'll welcome it if it's here in St. John's, but obviously be disappointed for him that he's not in Winnipeg. But again, with how things shake out during the year, he's showed himself well last year when he's in Winnipeg and before he got injured in training camp there also. So he's somebody that's on their radar closely.
And Coach, just a last comment on Adam Lowry and his emergence to crack the opening lineup.
Well, he's a very smart player on where he needs to be on the ice. When you look as a coach and you watch games and you're watching system-wise where players need to be, where's their stick, where are their feet, are they in position where you want them? Adam has always had that strength to his game. He's went into Winnipeg and built off what he learned at this level last year, what he gained from that experience in the playoffs, and rolled that into an opportunity to start in the National Hockey League. So smart enough player to be aware of how he needs to play, and from the games I've watched in Winnipeg and the practices, he's brought that and represented exactly how he's built as a big, strong centerman or winger wherever they need him to play.
Keith McCambridge talking about the forwards as the Ice Caps prepare for season 2014-15. Outstanding coaching staff led by Keith. Good luck this season, Coach. We'll do lots more of these as we get into a fourth campaign. And I thank you very much for taking time to join us in these three segments.
My pleasure, Roger.
With head coach Keith McCambridge for Ice Caps 360, I'm Brian Rogers. Let's go, Ice Caps. Get behind us, fans. You're the best.